Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Well, tonight on Connecticut's news station, 2 major Supreme Court decisions. We are breaking down the rulings and hearing reaction from Connecticut residents.
Plus, Waterbury's 3rd homicide of the month, what police are saying about the investigation tonight.
And a scary night at a summer camp after a Bobcat attacks a counselor. What officials are saying about the incident. I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Brent Harden. We are following breaking news out of Rocky Hill tonight, where a person was hit by a car on New Britain Avenue. That road is currently closed for an investigation. The pedestrian has serious injuries, we're told. The driver of the car is on scene and cooperating with police. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. And new tonight, President Biden is condemning the Supreme Court decision that struck down his plan to forgive college loan debt.
And now the president saying he has an alternative plan that's designed to ease borrowers' threat of default if they fall behind on their payments.
This new path is legally sound. It's going to take longer, but in my view, it's the best path that remains to providing for as many borrowers as possible with debt relief.
Striking down the Biden administration's student debt relief plan in a 6-3 ruling. The plan would have provided relief to 43 million borrowers. Local leaders sharing their reaction to the decision.
Now a lot of people aren't going to spend the way they were. They're not going to make investments that they were going to make. They're going to go back to paying student loans that are largely owed to the federal government.
Governor Ned Lamont also releasing a statement today saying that today's decision from the U.S. Supreme Court deals a crushing blow to over 200,000 hardworking Connecticut residents who were already approved for this much-needed student debt relief. Even before today's ruling, the payment pause was set to expire 60 days after June 30th, which is August 30th. The U.S. Department of Education previously confirmed that student loan payments will be due again in October, with interest kicking in September 1st, effectively restarting loans that have been frozen since March of 2020.
The United States Supreme Court also ruling in favor of a Christian business owner who refuses to make wedding websites for same-sex couples. That decision now causing backlash from Connecticut leaders, lawmakers, and businesses. Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolforst is with us now in studio and has reaction tonight. Emma.
Brent, officials are calling this latest Supreme Court decision wrong and hurtful. Many concerned how this new ruling will impact the state and what this means for anti-discrimination laws here in Connecticut.
A lot of damage has been done to Connecticut and Connecticut families just in these last few days.
Outrage from state leaders Friday after the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Colorado web designer Lori Smith, saying she has a First Amendment right to refuse wedding websites for same-sex couples.
Whether your views on marriage are similar to mine or perhaps different, nobody should be forced to create a message that goes against his or her convictions.
Smith argued against Colorado's anti-discrimination laws, which make it illegal to refuse public services based on characteristics including sexual orientation.
I definitely don't know how it will impact state of Connecticut laws here, but I can tell you that it's not going to impact how we operate at Bloom Bake Shop.
Palan's Bakery and Flower Shop does lots of weddings in Connecticut, and she says Friday's decision was shocking.
It's such a special day and a momentous occasion for folks, so we can't even imagine targeting marginalized groups like this seems to be.
She says she'll be paying attention to how this ruling could impact her shop, a concern shared by business owners across the country.
It's a really sad day for our country, and it's a bad thing for our economy.
Sears worries this will drive businesses and employees out of certain states.
I think states that are inclusive will win. Discrimination is just bad for business, and it's going to create more bifurcation and polarization in our country, which is not good for not just our country and our economy, but our global reputation.
Connecticut leaders say they'll continue to fight for LGBTQ+ protections within the state, but say it will be a tough road.
I'm going to stand with the people of the state, and we're going to be a firewall against attacks on all of us and incursions on our rights and our way of life.
And today's decision, one of several recently from the court in favor of religious liberty. Attorney General Tong tells me his office is looking into this ruling, but right now the state's anti-discrimination laws remain in full force and effect. Brent, Jen.
All right, Emma, thank you. Well, smoky skies return, and we could see some rain for the 4th of July weekend.
Meteorologist Ryan Breton here now with a check of the forecast. Bit of a mixed bag this weekend, Ryan.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on. Tomorrow will be a dry day, but some of this wildfire smoke could stick around at a thinner scale. Right now, the air quality considered unhealthy anywhere in red, including most of Hartford, Litchfield, and Fairfield counties, and Tolland County for that matter, too. Just about everywhere else, it's considered unhealthy for sensitive groups. The plume of smoke has come in here today, but it actually starts lifting out some tonight, so we'll have thinner smoke levels around during the day tomorrow. Air quality alert is up until 11 o'clock tonight. You can see outside right now, look at how hazy it is, especially in New Haven. The temperature there, 80, it's 82 degrees in Hartford. Other than the smoke, we don't really have too many issues overnight tonight. It will be a relatively comfortable night with moderate levels of humidity, temperatures dropping down into the mid-60s. Then our Saturday is the pick of the weekend. There may be some patches of fog in the morning, especially near and along the shoreline. The fog will lift and thin. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds during the afternoon, a little hazy, but warm with temperatures back into the mid-80s. Sunday is the day to watch, though, this weekend. It will be cloudy, a little damp with showers and storms around, and then we crank the humidity and heat up for most of next week. We'll be back to time this all out and look at the 4th, too, coming up in just a bit.
All right, Ryan, thank you. Well, one man is dead and another has to temporarily close his business after a crash involving shots fired that took place in Waterbury earlier this morning.
Yeah, the victim in this hasn't been identified, but has been described as an adult male. This all happened on North Main Street, ending in a car crashing into a bar and restaurant.
Fox 61 New Haven County Bureau reporter Julia LeBlanc has the latest on the investigation.
This all happened at this restaurant here on North Main Street in Waterbury around 2 o'clock in the morning. Now the whole thing boarded up now, and you can see that leftover crime scene tape. This incident leaving one man dead and another out of business for now. Jose Gavilanes is now talking with police and picking up the pieces after a car crashed into his shop in the middle of the night. He and his family have owned Inga Pirga Bar and Restaurant for years.
It's destroyed, it's a lot of loss, and well, it's 7 years they're working, try to grow up, and now everything's go down.
Waterbury police say they responded here around 2 a.m. for reports of shots fired. When they got here, they found an adult male with gunshot wounds who crashed into the building. He was pronounced dead on the scene, marking the 11th homicide in Waterbury this year and the 5th in a matter of 2 months.
It brings about a spirit of urgency within me.
Daryl Copeland is tracking the violence closely, working to stop it. He's the president of Ice the Beef here in Waterbury, a group looking to turn the community's pain into progress.
I believe that we can try to make a difference. We can't stop it altogether, but to bring more community awareness.
And that's exactly what they'll be doing in a forum next month with clergy members and local leaders. In the meantime, as police work to figure out what happened, Gavilanes is out of work.
The only I can feel is sad because we very soon to retire, and we try to have something to keep it going, you know.
Though he's lost thousands of dollars and isn't sure when he'll open back up, he's thankful his family is safe.
Now, I see what happened, you know, we have to wait and see what's going on.
Now, the plans for that forum we mentioned are still being finalized, but we do know it's happening on July 22nd here in the Brass City. In the meantime, police are not releasing the identity of the victim. Of course, we will keep you updated. We are in Waterbury. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Julia, thank you very much. Well, a Hartford man is accused of stabbing another man during a fight in Middletown last night. It happened on Stony Crest Drive around 9:30. That's when police say Devin Dukes stabbed a suspect. Officers say they found a knife and brass knuckles on scene. Dukes is being held on $750,000 bond.
And New Haven police are investigating a shooting that happened early this morning. Police say a woman was grazed by a bullet on Ferry Street just before 2 a.m., or just after 2 a.m., I should say. She was taken to Yale New Haven Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And during their investigation, officers found 14 fired cartridge casings and 1 projectile on scene. Anyone with information on this incident should call police.
A Bobcat attack in the middle of the night in Deep River leaves a camp counselor injured but alive. That attack happening on Selden Neck Island, which is part of a state park. Fox 61's Carmen Chow is in Deep River with reaction from town residents.
this is very out of the ordinary for us.
Just after 2 this morning, State Environmental Conservation Police were called for a report of a bobcat attack. They say a camp counselor was sleeping on a hammock when he was attacked. 2 other counselors jumped in to help, later killing the bobcat and leaving all 3 with non-life-threatening injuries. The youth, all okay.
You know, rabies is what always comes to mind first for people. It could be a couple other things. They can get distemper, which can make them act odd, not typically aggressive.
The counselors were leading a youth camp with Wilderness School, a program that takes the youth out of DCF foster care homes on days-long expeditions. It just so happens Thursday was their first day of camp. Scott Basil, a supervisor with the school, says their counselors are all trained for situations like this one.
We're out into the woods. We talk about all the various things that can go on in the woods, different scenarios that could happen. Our instructors all go out with a minimum of a wilderness first responder certificate.
Deep River residents say they see bobcats all the time, never thinking anything of it.
I'm surprised that there would be a bobcat on the island, how it got out there, because I don't know that they swim very well.
If we walk at night, well, maybe we'll stop walking at night, actually.
State Encon police say they have noticed more bobcats around, but they usually hide from humans.
Bobcat altercations with humans are exceedingly rare. Since 2020, we have only had, this makes the 5th altercation of those 5 that we have record of.
So if you are planning an overnight camping trip, they say your best bet is to store all of your food in storage containers and never leave an ounce of food out. The bobcat has been brought to a lab to be tested for rabies, and moving forward, the camp says they plan on having more conversations about what to do in similar incidents. In Deep River, Carmen Chow, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.